I'm sure all of you have heard of the names Stacey Ducker, Elizabeth Smart, and Amber Du Bois. And what do these three girls have in common? All three of them are victims of sexual predators. According to the book How to Detect and Avoid Dangerous People, there are over 400,000 sex predators out there. 1 in 4 girls are sexually victimized by the age of 18, and 1 in 6 boys are sexually victimized by the age of 18. In order for us to take action in protecting our children, we must first understand the problem with sexual predators. Second, we will discuss what is causing these sexual predators to prey on our children. Then finally, we can explore some simple, effective solutions that can help to keep our children safe. First off, let's discuss about the problem with sexual predators, and most importantly, how they operate. There are different types of sexual predators out there. There are pedophiles, rapists, and sexual offenders. According to Anne C. Salter, a world-renowned psychologist who has been studying sexual offenders and their victims for more than 20 years, through her experience and knowledge, there are 2 basic types of predators out there. The power predator, a person who feels like he or she can strike whenever they want to, and the persuasion predator, one who looks for a vulnerable victim and builds relationships with their victim. This type of predator usually tests the waters by building trust with their victims, and once they gain full control of their victims, that is when they attack. Clearly, we now know what a sex predator is, but can anyone here answer one of the main problems? Who are they and what do they look like? Sexual predators have learned to dwell well within society. Let's face it, they're not that creepy old ugly man who drives a big van around hunting for kids. They aren't what we call strangers anymore. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that they can be anyone. They can be a friend, a boyfriend, a family relative, your neighbor, teacher, your child's coach, the gardener, someone from the internet, a doctor, the clown who helps host your children's parties, and even priests. Many of these sexual predators will usually establish themselves as the kind of person who wouldn't do that kind of thing. One example could be a priest. According to the book Criminal Shadows by David Cantor, he writes that priests have almost every advantage of being a sexual predator due to the fact that their role has been traditionally respected. They carry that image that they are dedicated to helping others and can easily convince everyone that they are good people. Another example is from Elizabeth Smart's case, who was kidnapped from her Salt Lake City home on June 5, 2002, by a man who worked in their home and who was hired by her parents. Another problem we face with sexual predators are that children as old as 9 years and younger are being victimized. As a consequence, most of these children develop behavioral and mental problems. According to the website darknesstolight.org, a nonprofit organization that helps to educate adults and raise awareness of sexual abuse, sexually abused children who never tell anyone that they are being abused are at greater risk for developing psychological, emotional, social, and physical problems that last until adulthood. Victims of sexual predators often become alcoholics. 70 to 80% of sexual abuse survivors often report to heavy drug and alcohol abuse. Now that I've given you an overview of what a sexual predator is, who they are, and how children are being affected, let's discuss about the 2 main causes on why these predators continuously commit this crime. According to the National Center for Victims of Crime, the number of assaults done by sexual predators have risen when compared to other victims. Yet, more than 90% are never sentenced for their crime. Over 30% of victims never tell an adult, they never tell a friend or anyone. Usually, predators use a form of technique to keep their victims silent. Often, when it comes to children, sexual predators can easily bribe them with gifts, or threaten them that they will kill their family, or in often cases, if the victim does become difficult to handle, they kill them. Also, according to the book With Consciousness of Guilt, The Sexual Predator Among Us by Ernest Dorling, he argues that the legal system gives these sexual predators short sentences. And once they are out, they usually continue where they left off. But one major cause in what is typically shocking is that we as a society and also parents fail to be unaware of our surroundings. According to the psychologist Anna Salter, she argues that it is our misconceptions about predators that make us vulnerable to them. Oftentimes, parents put themselves in the "it happens to others, not us" type of situation. So while few parents are thinking about educating themselves about their surroundings, where their children are, and who they interact with, sexual predators are only trying to perfect their skills even more. Clearly, no one can get rid of sexual predators from society. But we can only come to one realization, that is to do something about it. Hopefully, these solutions are able to gain more protection for our children. First off, for parents, educate yourself as well as your kids and be more aware of your surroundings. Know your neighbor, know who your neighbors are, most especially your friends and relatives. Keep an eye open on who seems suspicious to you. If you notice a male friend or acquaintance is just too nice or at some point always wanting to be around your children, then so be it. Maybe he is really into children, but that doesn't mean that you should leave your children alone with him. Never give a suspicious person the benefit of the doubt. Check daily at www.familywatchdog.us to learn and know if there are any current sex offenders living in your area. I checked mine. There are 4 in my area who are living next to my house. Spend as much time as you can with your children and educate them. Rather than watching your child walk to the bus stop, walk with them. Don't tell them that they can't walk by themselves because they can get kidnapped. That will only scare them. Instead, let them know that you simply want to spend a little time with them before they leave for school. Also, educate them about how to act during an unsafe situation when approached by someone who is making them feel uncomfortable. Let them know that when a person randomly pulls up to them as they are walking by themselves or with friends, to always at least keep 4 feet away from the car. If they are walking home from school by themselves, tell them to stay within a crowd of other children because most predators prey on children who are by themselves. If, in any case, a predator decides to take action and try to grab your child, teach them to yell for help as loud as possible. That way, anyone who hears them and sees them can be able to help them out. Let them know that it is okay to tell an adult if anyone they know is making them feel uncomfortable. Lastly, get a dog. Getting a dog, if you are able to cope with one, it is not a bad idea. In most cases, parents are left with no other choice but to leave their children home alone when no one can watch them and they have to work. According to the book Predators, Pedophiles, Rapists, and Other Sex Offenders, most sexual predators' requirements when breaking into a home are when parents are not at home, children are all alone by themselves, and when there is no dog. Most dogs will bark at a stranger, and while a sex predator can kill a dog, they would need to get to them first before they can get to their victim, giving their victim enough time to call 911 or run away. As a review of what I have discussed, I'm going to summarize information that I have just shared with you. First, there are 2 types of sex predators, the power predator and the persuasion predator. Most predators also dwell well in society, and for that reason, it is hard to establish a real identity for them. Sex predators continue to offend because most children never tell an adult, and with parents' unawareness and lack of educating themselves, sex predators will continue to thrive on children. Educating yourself about your surrounding and also educating your children can help you avoid being the victim of a sexual predator. Hopefully I've informed you well about the sexual predators and possibly persuaded you to go home and educate yourself as well as your children about this crime. Thank you.